right. Welcome to FPHS Legacy Voices, the podcast where we today celebrate the people who have shaped the history and spirit of Fuquay High School. Today, we're joined by Wanda Denning, a proud member of the class 1968. Since graduation, she has gone on to serve as chair of the Fuquay Marina Chamber of Commerce Education Council, continuing the legacy of excellence that began right here in Fuquay Marina. We're excited to revisit school memories and hear how their journey has shaped both their life and our community. Now, beginning, what path did you take after graduation?
Well, I did go to college, majored in fashion merchandising and marketing, and then didn't do that, worked in a bank, and got married. After that, I was a stay at home mom, so I did not use any of my education, but I got involved with PTA and schools and stuff when my daughters both in a kindergarten.
What accomplishment are you most proud of?
There are a lot, but the one that comes to mind, I also chaired the Southern Wake Business Alliance. And through that, we decided about 7 or 8 years ago that we needed a youth leadership component in Fuquay. And so with Dr. Jesse, and I investigated different modules and different, models, and we started that, and we're in our, I think, 8th year. And you're one of the young people that are going to graduate this year.
Right. And what was a turning point in your career or education?
I started out wanting to teach school, got into observing teaching and student teaching, and decided that I'd be in jail if I continued on that pathway. So that's when I changed my major.
What was your favorite or funny memory from high school?
That was a long time ago. I can talk to you about memories here because when I was PTA president here, when my daughters were at Fuquay Marina High School, excuse me, we didn't have a lot of parental involvement. And so it was quite limited. There was a handful of people that did most everything. We painted the administration wing that Wake County didn't have the funding, or I don't know what they did, but about 3 of us moms got together and painted the whole administration office area. And it was interesting because back then when we did PTA meetings, we didn't come together and have a general meeting. Everybody would go to their student classroom, and the officers would go to the studio. And actually, Brian Schrader ran the introduction and the PTA meeting and filmed it, and it was like the entire classroom.
Do you mind refresh my memory on who Brian Strader is?
He graduated from here, and he works with WRAL TV.
And was there a teacher or a class or activity that shaped you?
Probably a lot of them, because I had a lot of really good teachers. Come to mind, probably Miss Freeman. She was a math teacher.
In what way did she impact you?
I had an affinity for math anyway, and she just kind of furthered that interest in pursuing a career teaching math that I didn't ever go into.
And how has Fuquay changed or possibly stayed the same since your time here?
Well, it's grown a lot. When I graduated, there were 108 people in my graduating class. And now I think there's 600 something in class. Even when my daughters were here, one of them had 300 something in their class, and the other one had just over 400. So it's grown quite a bit.
And how are you involved in your community now?
Okay, as I said, I've chaired the Southern Wake Business Alliance that's working with the career development coordinator at both the high schools and both middle schools, and working with young people to have them see the relevance between the world of work and what they do at school. I do chair the Chamber's Education Committee, working with all 12 of our area Fuquay principals. I do a lot with NC State in a volunteer capacity. I don't know, I stay busy. My daughters used to say I was a stay-at-home mom that was never at home.
And would you say out of any of those projects or programs, which are you most proud of?
Probably the youth leadership initiative.
And how do you see the values or lessons you've learned at Bouquets reflected in your work today?
I think my passion for education and working with our young people and making sure, you know, so many people out there say, oh, young people are, rural nation, they don't want to do anything. Well, I beg to differ. We got fabulous young people, fabulous teachers, and the world's going to be okay.
And in your activity within working with the youth, did you find any complications or difficulties that may have strived you away from working with the youth?
Not really. It's always a challenge. Sometimes you get frustrated, but no, not really.
Alrighty. In closing out, if you could walk the halls of Bouquet Arena High School, what advice would you want to give the teachers and students here?
Because the teacher does say, you're doing an amazing job. You're making impact that you probably don't realize. One day you will, but you are making a difference in the lives of our students. Because students, don't wait. Get involved, take risk. You can do a lot more than you give yourself credit for. And to both groups, I would say, support each other. Choose kindness, choose spirit, because you won't ever get these days back.
And if you could describe our school in one word, why would it be and why?
Well, if you're talking about the students, I think spirited. If you're talking about the school at whole, I think driven,
Mhm.
because I see what the staff and teachers do here, and they are committed to doing what's best for children.
Okay. Now, leaving out, thank you, Wanda Dennings, for sharing your story with us. And thank you to our listeners for tuning into FEHS Legacy Voices. Stay tuned for more alumni stories.